Hi, welcome. Whoa, jiggly. So I have not been down in my space for over a month. What's happening? I feel like I don't even know if everything's turned on. I see two things unplugged and I don't remember what they go to. We'll see. I think this is working. Is there enough light? Is there enough sound? We'll see. So it's been over a month that I've been in Costa Rica, and before that, I was traveling for for kind of continuing education for trauma healing with what I do with my clients, and then camping all over the upper US into the Northwest and back, and then camping with family. And I can't even see, there's also stuff popping up. This is so funny. Let's just wait till I start recording to check on things. So, I've just been so looking forward to getting back to readings in my space. And I could only take a few decks with me to Costa Rica. I didn't want to go crazy this time because my luggage is always overweight. And I don't want to pay extra. So I tried to be reasonable this time. And I didn't really get to do but one reading a week anyway because I was so busy down there. So I'm really looking forward to settling back in to some sort of consistency because it helps me feel more connected. And I love connecting with you. And I love just everything about this practice and helping me stay really, really deeply in tune with my intuition and what's going on energy-wise. So with that, I thought, well, I want to just go completely rogue creative today. And I pulled out some things I haven't gotten to play with in a while, and I thought maybe we could build a story and see what we learned from it. So I have the cards that I made. These are just handmade index cards that I wrote words on, so topics or things. So we'll see what we want to pull from there. And then I have my magnetic poetry bag, so maybe we'll build a little something. And then I have my Dixit playing cards, all kinds of different expansion packs, and just shuffled them a bit. So we'll pull from there, and then we'll get into the tarot. And I thought, what a great way to piece together, build up, and try to feel into the different energies of what's with us right now. And the more I learn about this and learn my own way through this, because it speaks through different people differently, I feel like a lot of times I meditate quite often, and there's something about having of a tool. And I believe that's what this stuff is. It's just having a tool, it's almost like a lightning rod kind of thing. That's what it feels like to me. It's it doesn't matter what really shows up in the tools. It's just that somehow the act of using the tools is what kind of grounds in the reading. So because I could pull the same cards on different days and a totally different reading will emerge each time. So to me, it's not necessarily like a script. It's not like, oh, well, this card means this. No, it's definitely by a feeling. And sometimes just having the tool helps anchor in the feeling more strongly for me. And then when I started learning about how it works with other people, that's what they say too. And so I'm like, cool. So to me, this has been a journey. I'm saying all this because I'm still new to this, like a year in. And it seems to be, it's my way of saying, yeah, now I'm trusting the process without second guessing myself. Because as a newbie, I always second guess myself at things until I develop enough confidence in it. And so it seems to be working consistently enough with the tools that I thought, oh, let's just trust it more. So with that, we'll see if any of this resonates with you out there today. Thanks for listening. I think it's just also I haven't been able to kind of express myself this way for like, it feels like all summer, really. I mean, with as consistently as I was being able to do readings through the first part of the year, and then it was like summer came and it's like whoosh, life took over. And I feel like I went through withdrawals and I feel deprived and I can't, it's like all coming out. So that's why I'm extra wordy, I think. I'm just really excited. Okay, so let's see if there's a card. Awakening. I like that. We'll just do one card. What are we awakening to? Okay, so maybe this will help get some more nuance to that. I'm just gonna pull little bitsies, few little words here. You know what I discovered? I'm in the process of thinning out my house. This whole mess, after all my travels, me coming back into my space and just dumping everything here, you don't even want to look over there. I'm glad you can't see it. I've got some organizing to do. I have been thinning things out, and what I discovered was I have a whole extra like magnetic poetry kit upstairs. I'm gonna merge those together and see what happens. There's a whole bunch of words up there. I love it. Okay. So we have oh gosh, I pulled a lot of words. I just laid these out. These could go in any order. Ooh, I think I need to fix my zoom or my clarity there. It says, enter thing, say idea, bugbear, because lunch. It's interesting, like what I get from this right away with this idea of awakening is that it's like it's a going into, so like enter thing, and like say idea. There's something about speaking, and maybe that's why I started with like the way that this has been working through me is because I've said that very thing. Like the speaking is also a tool that helps anchor in the energies. Like, so like I'll start talking and not even know what is going to come out, and somehow like when I do readings for people it all seems to be related. By the way, I'm sorry my head is so shiny. I just realized that on the camera. Look, boing boing boing. I haven't taken it this low. I've had short hair, buzzed hair a lot through my life, but I haven't taken it this short since probably my early 20s. Maybe once in between then and now, but something struck me. I'm like, I'm so sick of having hair. I feel like maybe I was a monk in a past life because it just, to me, I don't feel like myself until I have no hair. And maybe I'll even try to go bald, but I don't want the work of like a straight razor, and I'm so clumsy that I don't trust that I wouldn't just make a total disaster of my scalp. So I took it about as low as I can get it with my clippers, and then now I'm noticing, wow, my head is completely dry, yet look how shiny it is. It feels really cool though. I love doing this. I forgot what it was like to have it this short, even though I've buzzed it a lot. Oh, and it gets extra cold. I'm already having to wear beanies and it's still like 80 degrees out. Okay, enough about that. I just thought, since you probably haven't seen me in a while, you'd be like, oh, something's different. Okay. Again, thank you for being here. So what I'm going to do is pull out maybe 3 cards. Ooh, that one. And this one. Oh. And that one. Put back there. And then these are just storytelling cards. Let's see what we get from it. Oh, interesting. Oh, there's something about, I mean, I could take this very literally and say, like, this one makes me think, like, really makes me feel like, especially with this idea of awakening, we are trying to shed our old stories, right? It's like, oh, it feels like such a burden to keep all of the stories about ourselves in our head so we can keep orienting to our own stories. Meaning, like, isn't it exhausting? And don't you wish you didn't have to have like memory sometimes of your stories? Because it feels like it's what keeps us in this idea of who we really are. Like, oh, that's me because that's my history and those stories are familiar to me, whether they're true or accurate or not. We replay them to the point where it's like, who are we without those stories? We never allow ourselves to find out, right? So there's something about that and shedding, like, it's like maybe trying on a new mask in this process of awakening. Like, awakening to our true nature might mean like, wait a minute, who am I really? Or maybe it's like, well, in the process of finding out who I am, let me try on some other masks to see like what fits, what feels right. Kind of like when I said, like, I never feel like myself until I have no hair. It's like, when will I stop trying to grow it out to please other people, right? Oh my God, I can't wait to, and it made me think of this when I was going through TSA. Sorry, hot flash, it probably makes my head extra shiny. I was going through actually customs on my way back into the States. That's a whole story. It was a disaster. Like, we got diverted from like Dallas to Miami, back to Dallas, then to St. Louis. It was like, will I ever make it home? Well, in Miami customs, there was a really nice, like, friendly agent. Luckily, I got him because the other ones looked like so over it. I was like, oh, I don't want to go through there. So luckily, I got the guy who was very friendly. And then he was like chatting. They always ask you like, well, why were you gone? How long were you gone? What were you there for? Blah, blah, blah. And after all that, and he's like, can I ask you a question? I'm like, sure. I mean, that's your job, right? To ask me questions. And he's like, why'd you cut your hair? Dude, we just met. And I just looked at him like, I'm so over having hair. And this was a bald guy. He had a real shiny head, but he was bald. And he's like, well, it's a good look. And I'm like, right back at you. Because he had a bald head. And I was like, is that okay to say that to a customs guy? Because they're very serious usually. But it made me think of like, oh, I'm totally going to make up stories from now on. And one of them I thought of was like, next time, remind me, next time I get asked, because I'm sure I live in a very like not progressive area. So I'm probably going to get a lot of looks and questions. But so I'm going to say like, oh, it's for my new music video. My producers really wanted to go with a different look this time. You know, I'm a hip hop artist or a rap artist. I'll say something ridiculous like that and just see what happens. Because I'm in an area where no famous person would ever live. So anyway, that was a tangent, but it's like, yeah, why don't I play with that? Why don't I try other personality traits on for size? Because none of it's real anyway. So why not? Now, why not do it out of love and humor and just shaking people out of the norm and trying to like point out people's judgments, right? Because they don't realize in asking those questions, a huge ass assumption and judgment was behind that question, right? Oh, but they would never ask a man that, would they? No. Do you ever like look at a man with a shaved head and be like, why'd you cut your hair? No. But I'm so over the the patriarchy side of it, because honestly, that's dying out. It's like you just still have to deal with it. Or maybe I'll just say, okay, boomer. Sorry, boomers. I know you're not all like that. But it's just like you still have, and so it's maybe my way of adding some levity and love to a situation instead of getting all indignant about it, because why aren't we beyond this yet? I've been doing it since my early 20s. One time, why am I telling you this? This is not what this is about. This isn't story time. Or is it? One time in my early 20s, when I cut it pretty much this short, and I was walking down, I lived in LA, and I was walking down a very busy street in LA with a friend, and there's always traffic. So there was a lot of traffic on the road, and I was on the sidewalk, just walking, minding my own business, talking with my friend. And out the car window, somebody yells, "You'd be pretty if you had hair." It just zoomed on by. It's like, why? Why? And that was like, oh my God, that was like almost 30 years ago. That's how old I am. So it was like the late 90s. No, early 2000s. So it was definitely like, it was like 23 years ago. And so it's like, and even, why? And LA is a progressive area. Apparently not in the early 2000s. So it's just, I've been dealing with it so long and so frequently throughout my whole life that it's like, why not have fun and play with it? Because it doesn't matter anyway. The way I have, the only control I have is the way I respond to anything in life. And I feel like that's what this is about, is like, get rid of those old stories that says, like, my feminism stories, like, I don't really identify with that anymore. I'm a humanist, not just a feminist, but it's like, to me, I've let go of that indignant thing. So that's good. I've let go of that story, but I still want to maybe try like some other masks on for size to see what really resonates. Cause sometimes like this whole speaking thing, like say the idea, like sometimes I don't even know how I feel about something till I start talking and it comes out. And then I'm like, yeah, that's right. Right? Because that gets me out of my head and more embodied with how I express myself. So that's what this means to me, is like, whatever it means to you to drop the old stories, the old narratives, and live into your true nature, but from a loving way, meaning expansive, loving, giving, charitable, generous. Because that's the only control we have, is how we react to things in our lives. Because really we have no control of anything at all, but I do have control over my own personal growth and the way I respond, right? Is it from a place of love or from a place of like judgment? So if I feel judged, I turn around and judge. It's like the Course in Miracles talks about attacking, like attack thoughts. And so I can think, which I've done a lot of this in my life, like thinking, well, if they say this, I'll say that. Like I was just talking about it. This time I'm trying to use that power for good, not evil. But it's like I'm pre-attacking, I'm pre-going on the defense because I'm going to feel attacked and I've got to bolster up my armor. I've got to protect myself from that, when really there's nothing to protect from if I feel fully at ease and confident in my ability to respond in any moment from a place of love. So I think that's what this reading is going to be about, but we'll see. And this, it's interesting because I feel like this feels very relevant. I love the pictures. It's this person is riding a fish and they look like a little cowboy and they're putting a hat on a hook. So it's like almost like, it's like we have, like he's in full control, right? He's like baiting the hook. So it's interesting to me that what we just talked about is kind of the same idea. I have control over, I'm not going to like just take the bait, right? I'm going to choose how to respond to this situation of somebody trying to bait me into something, right? And it's like, no, I'm in full control here. So that one was Interesting. Man, it's dusty down here. I need to clean. This place has been sat vacant too long. Okay, so I'm going to leave some of these things up here while we get into the tarot. Which ones do we want to use? I feel like I'll use ones that I didn't take with me. How about our little, this one's called Tattoo Tarot, Vintage Tattoo Tarot. If there's nudity, I might have to turn it over or else YouTube will get mad at me. And some of these have some nude imagery. So, how are you? You've heard about my life story. I'm all chatty. I need to get out more. Talk to people. So today was my first day back in the studio with my clients. Luckily, I kept it a light day, but tomorrow is like a 12-hour day. Lord help me. I don't know how I'm going to survive. I got to get good sleep tonight. But it was really great being back with clients after not really giving I gave one massage while I was gone, like 1 2-hour massage to one of my coworkers. And it just reminded me, like, I really do love the work that I do. And it was also nice to have a break and be with students for a month teaching them massage. So that was really cool. And they were another sweet group. They wrote me a beautiful letter and said really sweet things. And I cried again. The first group earlier this year did that to me too. And I just, the ugly cries. So, like, even though I'm like professional and, I said this to somebody, I'm like, I feel like for us, like, even if we feel like no one truly sees us, I feel like people truly see us. We just don't perceive it that way. We just don't always have the opportunity to share what we see in people with them, right? And I think that's what sometimes keeps us feeling unseen, is just our lack of sharing that with each other. Just because maybe it feels awkward, or who knows. But given the opportunity, we love to do that for people, don't we? We love to show them what we see in them and have them know that they are seen. This must be relevant. We'll see. What spread do we want to use? I'm already 22 minutes in. Sorry, guys. It's very chatty. Hopefully you're watching this on double speed. Okay. I feel like we're going to let's just build it. Let's just go and keep building. We're not going to start out with a specific, like, traditional spread. Ooh, we have Strength, crossed by the Empress. Ooh, neat. Immediately, this does have to do with our inner strength, doesn't it? This idea of, like, getting rid of just the stories we've told ourselves or that we feel about ourselves. Just questioning, are they even true? And in that process, we can tap into this inner strength that we have that's already there. It just takes, like, sometimes those old stories keep us feeling anything but our own strength, because they're things that maybe happened to us when we were young, or maybe the way we've behaved that makes us still feel like we're carrying around that guilt and shame, when it's like, no one wants us to hold on to those things, but we do it to ourselves. The Empress, what maybe challenges our strength is, this is interesting, because the Empress, there's something about, I don't want to say the word fertility, but it's something about, like, that's something often associated with the Empress, is it's like the energy of fertility, like something's ripe for growth. And normally I don't tap into that energy with the Empress, but because it's such a traditional reading for the card. But the pomegranates here really symbolize that, and I don't always pick up on that in certain artwork, but this one, it's like really prominent with the symbol of like the feminine symbol here in the heart space. And so there's something here about what's like the fertile ground of what's ready to grow within us, and how can we play in that soil? How can we tap into that? Like, what is ready to grow within us if just given the right attention? And how does that play into our sensing into our own inner strength? There's something about the interplay of those energies that seems really interesting to me. Let's keep going. What's interesting also is that those are both major arcana. So those are big, big energies to contemplate as we go into the further reading. There's also a lot of feminine energy in both of these. So there's the quiet, calm strength of the Strength card, where it's not the brute force kind of strength we're talking about. It's with both of these, there's a quiet, very feminine energy about the way feminine strength works. Now, we all have both feminine and masculine. I'm not talking about just gender roles here. This is like, what kind of strength can we tap into? For me personally, I love the feminine strength of quiet. It's like the kind that steps back and has a more allowing nature to it, allowing things to unfold in the way that's, what do I want to say? It's more trusting versus like, I know the way this needs to play out and I'm just going to brute force push through, just push, push, push. This is more like the yin versus yang. So yin strength of quiet. I almost want to say reserved, but it's not in that wallflower kind of way. It's the kind that is very self-confident and knows when to act, what needs attention, what needs action, and what needs allowing. So both of those have that very, very similar energy to them. Like the woman who can tame the lion with just her own energy, without the muzzle, without the whip, without threats. It's like this. It's almost like the whole like treating people from a place of love. Like love wins every time. The lion is tame because the love that it senses from this feminine energy. It's not going to attack something that it feels love from. And the Empress is all love, all allowing. She just sits back and lets things come to her. Okay. They're thick and sticky. So we have the Four of Coins or Four of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles. And the Ten of Wands. That's funny because I just talked about this push, push, push. And the Ten of Wands is like, oh my God, I've been pushing forever. And it's like finally dropping the burden of the push. So let's take a peek here. I think I want to use a different deck to clarify. So we have this trajectory of, it's like when you go through life and you, with this mindset, and this goes back to old stories or old conditionings. That's kind of what I mean by stories. What have we been conditioned by, and why do we keep doing it to ourselves well beyond anybody else doing it to us? No one holds us to stories except ourselves, or we allow other people to keep putting that stuff on us. So this is like this idea of going from the Four of Coins to the King of Coins. So it's Four of Pentacles, which is like questioning, what is it that makes me feel secure, right? And then it's like this trajectory of, well, I'm going to have that same idea that I've been conditioned with, what makes me feel secure in life. Usually that comes from a very young age, like our family conditioning. Like maybe we grew up without any money, and so we have very different ideas of what makes me feel secure versus if I grew up in a family that had all the money and I didn't have to worry about that. And so it's like wealth mindsets. Like they talk about this in like trying to flip the script of like abundance conditioning, if you want to use that word. Is kind of overdone, but it's like, well, if you've always had this scarcity mindset, you kind of keep in that, and the conditions of your life unfold from that mindset. If you have an abundance mindset, regardless of what you're doing, you might be on the exact same kind of path as the one of a scarcity mindset, but then you just always have abundance. It's just the way you perceive things is like creates your reality, right? So to me, this is like a story arc of like, well, what is my idea of security? And then this King of Pentacles is like, what's the bare minimum and what's the maximum? What's the story of like what makes me feel secure, abundant? Like, what is that? Because to me, there's this, like, then we go to the Ten of Wands, which is this complete, like, I have pushed so hard on this path to the point where I feel like I'm getting nowhere. It's just been exhausting, right? So it's like, and I wonder if this is really our Western culture, our Western mindset, which is probably pervasive around the world these days because we've infected everybody with it. It's just like push, 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 always trying to achieve and get somewhere and build up something that I feel satisfied by, and it's never satisfying, and I just want to drop the burden. The Ten of Wands is like finally getting to the point of just dropping that burden, dropping those old stories. It's time to try something new. And instead of push, we need to tap more into the feminine, receptive energy, the yin energy versus the yang masculine energy of like push, push, push. I have to brute force my way through life. So that's what all of this says to me. Everything to me is around that idea of how do we flip those scripts and tap back into like ease, a sense of ease in life. And how cool is it to think about, how cool would it be to get into, like, feel into the ease and then watch the abundance just happen without the brute force, without having to worry about everything. How's it going to happen? What do I need to plan for? Do I need 3 jobs? Like, how do I get the next promotion? Like, now I sort of went down that wealth, but, train of thought, but it could be anything. What is my, in love, there's scarcity versus abundance mindset. There's enough love to go around. I don't have to tap into the jealousy tendencies, like scarcity. There's only one person for me, and I'm so scared they're going to like not love me anymore. And it's like by keeping ourselves in fear, it keeps us separate from love. And that came up earlier today as a thought. So maybe it's in the air. So anyway, it could be anything, whatever it is for you. Okay. where do we want to go from here? I kind of want to use these guys because they're a little vintage also. It's vintage cartoony looking things. I do have to check my messages real fast and open my thing with my face. I had to do a new Face ID because it didn't understand what I did here. Okay. So we're just gonna, I think we built enough of a story, and I'm gonna have to go so I can get lots of good sleep tonight. I'm still exhausted from travels. So I think what we'll do is this will be kind of a long reading without a extended, and then as I settle back in here to all this goodness, we'll probably do some more extendeds this weekend. Okay, so let's clarify down through this story and just see what emerges. We have the Eight of Pentacles, so that's on point there, and the Three of Pentacles. So as we come down with this idea of what, like this pushing through and trying to build towards something and ultimately realizing it's not fulfilling, the Eight of Pentacles is that steady as she goes and working to build. So it's hilarious that we went from 4 to 8 to the King. This is what we were just talking about. It's like keeping my head down, churning it out. I'm working toward this thing without even questioning if that's the thing that I really want in life. Like, is this worth it? Is it going to be fulfilling? Is it going to be rewarding? And then we have the Three of Pentacles, which is this idea of building something that is truly meaningful and built to last. So it's like we get to this point of like we want to drop the burden, but it takes us questioning, is this it? Like, what is it that's going to be even more solid but take fewer like energy resources, and yet it's built to last, and it's built in community, like people working together. It's like-minded, I don't know, it's like working toward a common goal with your loved ones, or just, it's almost like reaching out beyond the self. So doing things in service of others instead of just trying to serve the self. That seems really significant here when we're trying to act from a place of love. Love is usually a more connection versus isolation. In our Western culture, it's all about isolation, isn't it? They want to keep us separate. Like everything is designed to keep us in an individualistic mentality. And there's something here saying, no. We got to reach out. Connection is our superpower. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. This feels like this constant like juggling act of me versus we. And there's something there about the, like in this story, something's keeping us constantly trying to come into balance of that, because like we got to look out for ourselves, right? We got to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of other people. But there's this idea that's like, well, like if we were to reach out in connection, that actually is, then it always comes back to yourself. So what comes first? Making sure I'm solid, or like being in service to others? Is it an either or is it just constantly trying to find our own unique balance of the two? That's something interesting here when it comes to like that. Like, what does your own inner voice tell you? The inner strength. Oh. Remember how I said there's like an entering in? I feel like it's a both and. Like by going in and questioning what does make me feel secure? Is it having things, the material world, or is it having the ability, like the connection? Like going in is reaching out. There's like a beautiful kind of paradox there. So So anyway, I just want to leave it with more questions and answers. And I want to do, hold on. There's, here. Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. This is the Oracle card I want to pull. This feels like a small deck. This probably is only like 30 some cards. Let's just see what message we have. This is the About the Illustrator card. Of all the cards to pull. That's funny. I didn't know I left that in there. The Winged Wise Ones, Angelic Help, Miraculous Aid. I don't know why I wanted to pull this deck. I haven't used this barely at all. Let's see what we get. Oh, I guess I don't know how to read numbers. Hold on. 34. The Winged Wise Ones, Angelic Help, Miraculous Aid, Ally. Always allies and never challengers. The Winged Wise Ones, maybe it's winged, wise ones, represent the aid of all the angels. When you enter their realm, know that your sincere prayers will be answered according to the will of the divine. This also represents divine intervention and the potential of miracles to heal and transform as if by magic. Have faith, whatever your circumstances. Heavenly beings are watching over you. The winged wise ones give you a glimpse of the future by offering messages whispered on the wind. These are translated within you as inspired thought, instantly unraveling the past and revealing the present. It's like we talked about letting go of those old stories, like unraveling them. And that reveals, who am I really now? What's my true self? Be aware of the higher consciousness in you. This is a good time to observe your thoughts through meditation. Who is observing those thoughts? That self is kin to the winged wise ones who have come to help you soar. I love thinking about that when I meditate. Hold on. I'm not used to talking, I guess. My throat is dry. It's like, you have thoughts, but a way to step back from just being carried away by thought, which is just nothing, it's just chaos, it's just noise, is to kind of step back and reflect on, well, who's the one aware of the thoughts, right? There's an awareness of something here having thoughts, that thoughts exist. Who's aware of that? It creates some separation, like, oh, I can now see thoughts apart from self. I am not thought identified, and I can just observe them leaving. It's like being able to create distance between me and the stories of me. And I think about that a lot in terms of like, I'm tired of my old stories. I'm tired of thinking about the past. I think I've gotten as much as I can from it. We'll see. Like, are there any other things to learn? Any other things to heal? Are there things that even need healed? Or can I just drop it and move on? And so there's, like, if I feel, I think for me a clue is like, when I think about awakening, is awakening to, like, I think of the word trigger, I guess. So if something rubs me the wrong way, then I'll stop and question, well, where is this coming from? When did I first feel this way? Is it an old story that it's like, wait a minute, I can heal that. I can let it go. I can move on. It doesn't have to have a hold on me anymore. I don't have to identify with the person who went through that anymore. It's like, and it's not bypassing either. It's just it's like a release, a letting go. As long as I feel like I've learned something from it. So I feel like that's a little bit what this is talking about too, is creating that distance from identifying with and as the stories. trying on these new masks, not getting baited, right? Like realizing it's like the triggers, like if something's trying to hook you into your repeating these patterns of reaction, it's like, wait a minute, that's not even me anymore. That's like ancient history, and I'm ready to release it and let it go and feel renewed and refreshed and awakened. So for what it's worth, that's what all of this meant to me. That's what I felt through all these different types of cards. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you read something different, if it meant something different to you, because that's what's really important, is how you resonated with it. So thanks for being here, and thanks for listening to the old stories as I get this back going. And I think I have one more week of travel between now and the end of the year. I actually postponed some of my other continuing ed. So, because I've been gone a lot this year, I'm just like, no, I just want to be home. I want to slide through autumn into winter, get cozy down here, and do a ton of readings. So I hope you'll be with me. Bye.